exiled in Japan. He's a solitary man. He makes videos. He's met the aborted soul.
Hey, what's up, YouTubians? It's me. Alright, my big question for the day. I've got something on my mind, and I was just asking, there seems to be a lot of intelligent people that are on here, so throw me your ideas. It seems to me that every bit, like that the science of cosmology, especially the idea of an expanding universe and the Big Bang and all that, is based on redshift that comes from the Doppler effect. I've had different bouts where I've gone in and tried to understand the Big Bang, and basically the idea is that it's very similar to what happens in the Doppler effect with sound. As a car comes racing by, as it's coming towards you fast, you hear an increase in pitch. As it whips past you, you hear regular pitch, and then it drops down to a lower pitch than it normally is. Like how it goes zoom, that sort of high zoom, and then as it passes, zoom, everyone's seen like NASCAR or Formula 1 or Formula D or whatever. Or at least if you haven't, you've seen a truck go past going 35. That's probably sufficient enough if it's making enough noise to have the Doppler effect. But so the same thing happens with light waves as with sound waves. When something travels fast, as it's coming towards you really fast, there's blue shift. You get a lot of blue shift. It looks more blue. Not that it becomes blue, but on the color spectrum, it bends more towards the blue end. As the same thing with red, it goes towards the higher or the lower spectrum. The higher spectrum would be blue. So as something travels away from you, it has a red shift. Well, cosmology seems to be based on the idea that the universe is expanding because of this redshift, because it's detectable like in almost everything, almost unanimously. Any cosmological body, any galaxy or star, any particular thing you decide to pick out in the far distance has redshift. And the closer it is, you get, I think, less redshift. So the things that are farther appear to be traveling faster. Well, there may or may not be several explanations for this. Alright, examples of redshift in astronomy and cosmology that doesn't have anything to do with speed. There's gravitational redshift. When something is grabbed by gravity, the particles escaping have to work harder and bend down lower towards the red end of the spectrum. There's that, and there's one other thing. The redshift, basically, the more dramatic the redshift that we found, leads us to feel that the different speeds. That seems to be where this deduction is coming from. So it's the universe is accelerating because the things farther away or whatever are more red than the things that are closer. But when you get two galaxies that are really close to each other, or a galaxy and a quasar that are really close to each other, and they're sharing particles, they're actually feeding in stars and gas clouds and just shit. They're exchanging, they're physically touching, and yet one is dramatically different. It's incredibly different redshift than the one that should be much closer but is right next to it. So if one is accelerating at an incredibly higher pace and the other one's not, why do we see so many dramatic examples of this? One note on the redshift that has to do with gravity. It would have to be a dramatically large amount of gravity. There would have to be a huge gravity well that would generate this sort of change in color. And we notice redshift that happens with like nebulas and stuff. So loose groupings of shit they still have this redshift, so that might not be the best explanation, but it might explain why some are more dramatic than others. Alright, just a few questions. So if anyone else understands the Big Bang better than me, which is just about everyone that's done reading. I've only looked into it like 3 or 4 times. So if you've got some sort of extensive understanding under your belt, and this is probably Gary, either of the Garys, probably Burn Victim or Dexterowski's, probably understand this. There's other people out there, I'm sure, that have done their homework. So I'm just asking for help. Does anyone understand this shit? Alright. Peace out. Fuck off. Have a good day, good night, wherever you are, and I'll be talking to you later. It burns the eyes.